we were faced with a catastrophe in Detroit, which struck us and most people who came to Detroit as somewhat like the thing that Haiti is striking people as today. Detroit, which had been the national and the international symbol of the miracles of industrialization, was falling apart. There were vacant lots all over the place. There were abandoned buildings all over the place. Kids were dropping out of school because they said, why keep on going to school with the idea that you could make a lot of money one of these days when you can make a lot of money now, locally. And so they dropped out of school, sold drugs, and violence spread over the city. And I wanted to start this conversation by telling you how a few of us in Detroit have over the years been able to identify and nurture community leadership so that we are on the threshold of transforming a system, a city which has been the national and the international symbol of the devastation of deindustrialization, to what is becoming a city of hope. First of all, we started out with a deep love and a lot of hope for our people and for our country. One of our buttons, I'm sorry I don't have one here, but one of our slogans was, "Love America enough to change it." And I think that's very worth internalizing. You're not going to change anything, you're not going to transform anything unless you love it. The second thing that we had was a very deep sense of history. We were very conscious of how down through the millennia there has been a lot of labor and suffering of the negative, and that you don't reach your destination like a shot out of a pistol. It takes a lot of time and a lot of work. And one of the questions we always ask ourselves, and I think we particularly need to ask ourselves now, is what time is it on the clock of the world? I think unless we have that sense of the last 300 years, it's very hard to get a sense of how deep in crisis we are at the present time, and how much we need to have hope and love in order to make the next step. We also had a sense of the city as a place where people make and remake themselves. All these understandings enable us to recognize that we are on the threshold of a cultural revolution that is as huge in its ramifications as the transition from hunting and gathering to agriculture 11,000 years ago, and from agriculture to industry a few hundred years ago. I think unless one locates oneself both in time and in place, to actually grasp the depths of the concept of transformation for yourself and for your environment, for your country, for your people, is very difficult. You're likely to get sidetracked into all sorts of petty squabbles.